Hi, I'm Reverend Wendy Craig-Purcell here at the Unity Center in San Diego. Thank you so much for watching today. If you'd like to support the work that we do here, please consider making a contribution. Go to our website. It's easy to do. Thank you in advance for that contribution.
And today we want to look at the importance of what is confidence, and what is confidence with humility, or confidence without arrogance. And why is that important? What does that have to do with our spirituality? The song we just listened to speaks of what it has to do with our spirituality. This is what I wrote to myself about confidence. It is more than just not having an attitude of arrogance. It's about embodying a heart of humility that is grounded in the awareness of the power and presence of God within me and within all others. Let me repeat that. More than just not having an attitude of arrogance, confidence with humility is about embodying a heart of humility that is grounded in the awareness of the power and the presence of God within you and within all others. It's recognizing the I am that is within myself and recognizing the I am that is within you. And when we live from that awareness, all sorts of good begins to manifest in our lives. All sorts of doors begin to open for us. A path seems to be open before us. I love this true story of a young preacher who was about to give his very first sermon, and he had practiced and prepared over and over again. And when it was time for him to stand up and walk up to the lectern and give his talk, he was really full of himself. And when he got up there, he went completely blank. Couldn't remember anything that he wanted to say. And he kind of slumped down the stairs to his seat. And there was an older preacher that was sitting next to him, a very seasoned preacher, who leaned over to him and said, "If you had gone up the way you came down, you would have come down the way you went up." Confidence with humility. Why is it important spiritually? I think it's important spiritually because without a sense of confidence, without a healthy and reasonable sense of self-assurance, of belief in ourselves, we can never reach our potential. Without believing in ourselves, without a healthy sense of confidence with humility, we can never reach our full potential. We cannot become the best parent that we could become, the best partner that we could become, the best inventor or singer or creator or writer or doctor or lawyer, fill in the blank. Without a sense of assurance, without a sense of confidence in ourselves with humility, we can never become all that we are truly capable of becoming. So how do we grow in confidence? And the kind of confidence I'm talking about, not confidence that is boastful, not confidence that is arrogant, but confidence with humility. There are 5 things I want to share with you. And the first one is this. It begins with a belief in ourselves that comes from an accurate assessment of our competencies. It begins with a belief in ourselves that comes from an accurate, this is important, an accurate assessment of our competencies. How good are you right now at the things that you are doing? Objectively, how good are you? How good are you as a listener? How good are you as a teacher? How good are you as a parent if you have children? How good are you as a partner? Whatever the blank is. What's your current level of competency? It can be dangerous to overestimate your competency. Would you not agree? Oh, you're a little lukewarm about that. I love to downhill ski. And some of the most dangerous accidents I've ever learned about or seen in the making are those who have mistaken their level of competency on the slope. There is a reason that at most slopes, when there is a black diamond, which means experts only, there's a reason they're telling you experts only. Right? It can be dangerous no matter what field. No matter what field. It can be dangerous if we don't have an accurate assessment of our competencies. And it takes a certain amount of vulnerability to get that accurate assessment. Sometimes we might need to reach outside of ourselves to someone who's very good at the thing we want to be good at. Whether it is meditating, whether it is praying, whether it is creating, whatever it is. To seek an objective point of view to help us get a clearer picture of where are we in our skill level, our competency level in that particular area. And when we have a clearer sense of what our competencies are, no matter what it is that we're working at improving, when we have a clear sense of what our competencies are, it gives us a sense of trust. A sense of trust, and we will then know just how far to stretch, where the stretch is a healthy stretch that produces growth but doesn't kill us. Right? Are you with me? Are you with me? I know that I can make it down any blue diamond on any mountain, but put me on a black, and it doesn't look so pretty. Put me on a black, I can sometimes make it down if all the conditions are just perfect. And I mean just perfect. Knowing where you are is really, really important in order to have a healthy sense of confidence. Does this make sense? And why am I saying a healthy sense of confidence is important? Because without it, you cannot fulfill your potential. Whatever it is that is near and dear to your heart and soul to be good at, in those areas of life that really matter, being a good parent, being a good partner, being a good contributor to society, whatever it is that's really important to you, you can only get better at it if you already know what your starting point is. The second is belief in your ability to learn and grow and solve problems. Belief in your ability to learn and grow and solve problems. Say that with me. Belief in your ability to learn and grow and solve problems. One of the things that I think is very important when we are wanting to get better at a skill, let's take prayer and meditation as a skill because they are skills. Wanting to get more effective, better at prayer and meditation. One of the things that I absolutely know to be true is we can't dabble in it. We don't get solid results in any area of our life in which we are just dabbling. What does dabbling mean? Here, there, and everywhere. We do it for a little while, and then we don't. And then, oh, well, yeah, maybe I'll do it again, and then we don't. You know, discipline is not very glamorous, is it? And yet, discipline or consistency in any area of our life, including spiritually, is absolutely necessary to get rock solid good at anything. We cannot just dabble around the edges. And this is why it's so important, I think, for us to be very selective. What is it that matters to us? Because there's not enough time in any of our lives for everything to matter equally. It just can't. It just can't. But what really matters to you? That's what's important. And what are you doing to strengthen your competency in that? If what matters to you is being the most light-filled, loving and kind person you can possibly be, then how do you look at those places in your life that challenge you to shut down or to get angry or to be judgmental? Do you go, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Here's a place for me to practice the very thing I said I want to get good at. Did you follow that train of thought? Because that's what our growth in mastery really, really looks like. Belief in our ability to learn and grow and solve problems means that we have to be teachable. And I think one of the best ways of describing humility is it is teachableness. And teachableness at the feet, literally or figuratively, of anyone. Of anyone. Everyone. We can learn something from everyone. We absolutely can learn something from everyone, regardless of their age, regardless of their background. We can learn something from everyone. And to walk through life knowing that, living from that, will automatically have us be a more humble individual. The third is belief in your intrinsic worth. Belief in your intrinsic worth, that you were born right the first time. Yes. Turn to your neighbor and say, you were born right the first time. Go ahead. Convince them. As if your life depended upon it. Try it one more time. You were born right the first time. And whether a parent or a teacher or a minister told you otherwise, they're wrong. They're just plain wrong. They're just plain wrong. You were born right the first time. You have intrinsic worth, but you've got to believe in that. You've got to believe in that. We can look to our teacher and way shower. Jesus said a lot of things pointing to our intrinsic worth. He said, the things that I do, greater things than these shall you do. Some fundamentalists wish he hadn't said that part. The things that I do, greater things than these will you do. He said, know ye not that ye are gods? You are the light of the world. Don't hide your light. Let your light shine. These were not just nice things he said. I mean, they were nice things he said. But they're truth. They're important. And if we find ourselves in periods of self-doubt, do any of you still find yourself sometimes in self-doubt? It's one of the shadowy things that I deal with a lot personally. A lot of times I feel doubtful and question myself. But to remind myself, if I get too far into that, but wait a minute, I do have intrinsic worth just as everybody else does. I am made, according to Genesis, I am made in the image and after the likeness of God. And that's true of your neighbor. That's true of your boss. That's true of your children. And that's true of your ex. And it's also true of the sandpaper to your soul person in your life. They too are made in the image and after the likeness of God. So belief in your intrinsic worth is a really foundational piece of the kind of confidence I'm talking about. I want to read to you words that I imagine every single one of you in this room have heard before. They are some of my favorite words. They are written by Marianne Williamson in her book, A Return to Love. For a while, they were misquoted as coming from Nelson Mandela, but he was quoting her, these words. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Boy, that statement's important. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Can I have an amen to that? Amen. So belief in, trusting in your intrinsic worth. The fourth is to have confidence with humility means you recognize not only your own intrinsic worth, but the intrinsic worth and worthiness of every other person. Of every other person. No exceptions whatsoever. whatsoever. No loopholes. No loopholes, so don't go looking for them. Don't go looking for them. 1 Peter 4:10 says, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of the Christ. It's pointing to the truth that each of us has been given our unique light. Each of us has a talent, a gift, and it's to be used in service to one another. Wouldn't it be a beautiful world if we really focused on that? Don't you think? I think it would be a beautiful world. I would love to see us begin to reshape some of our focus in education. That somehow we supported our teachers well enough with whatever training they felt they needed and wanted, and resources to do the work that they need to do and do it really well, and to pay them what they're worth, and then help them to be able to have some freedom to look within at that child that they are being entrusted with, and to help call forth the uniqueness of that child. Not every child is meant to excel in every subject. When we expect everyone to excel or expect everyone to do the same all across the board, we flatline the true uniqueness and potential that's present. But when we can say, you know what? We need each person to find out what they love to do, what they are good at, what they care about, and help them do that the very best they can. I don't profess to know how to do it, and I'm smart enough to know that it is not going to happen overnight, and it's not necessarily a simple thing. But I do know that any great change, any system-wide change has got to begin first in consciousness with us saying what exists the way it is now doesn't work anymore. And here's what we ought to be moving toward. And let us figure out together what are the next step or two we might be able to take with that. And so maybe it's as much each of us working this right where we are, in our own families, in our own circle of influence. When we see someone who's really feeling like they're wanting to fly in a particular area of their life and they've got some talent or skill in it, to help them develop and deepen their confidence in that. Be a cheerleader for them in that. If somebody recognizes that in you, make sure you spend time with them. If each of us is playing to our own greatness, we will have confidence with humility. When we are playing to our own greatness, the reason we will have confidence is because it's about something we care about. The reason we will have humility is because we do care about it. We want to be teachable and we want to keep growing and get better at it. We're not going to have to pretend. Arrogance comes from what? Pretending. And it also comes from fear. That I've got to pretend to be something I'm not, or better than I really am right now. Because if I don't, then you might not like me or approve of me. So to have confidence with humility means you recognize the intrinsic worth and worthiness of every person as well as yourself. A couple of quotes I want to share with you. I like this one from Jesse Jackson. Never look down on anyone unless you're helping him up. Isn't that beautiful? Never look down on anyone unless you're helping him up. This one from Ram Dass. He's got a sense of humor. Treat everyone you meet as if they are God in drag. A true story I want to read to you, and then I'll close with the last point. This is a piece written by Joanne Jones. During my second year of nursing school, our professor gave us a quiz. I breezed through the questions until I read the last one. What is the first name of the woman who cleans the school? Surely this was a joke, I thought. I'd seen the cleaning woman several times, but how would I know her name? I handed in my paper, leaving the last question blank. Before the class ended, one student asked if the last question would count toward our grade. Absolutely, the professor said. In your careers, you will meet many people. All are significant. They deserve your attention and care, even if all you do is smile and say hello. She says, I've never forgotten that lesson. I also learned her name was Dorothy. And the very last is about using your gifts, your spiritual gifts, your spiritual talents, while understanding and making peace with where you're weak. Because we're not all strong in the same ways, and we're not all weak in the same ways. And it's better for us really to cultivate and strengthen our gifts and our strengths than it is to spend too much time trying to figure out how to get really good at lifting ourselves out of our weaknesses. Does that mean that we're excused from at least having a certain baseline of acceptability in certain areas? No. You can't go through life like a jerk and a nincompoop. Got to clean that up, sorry. Got to clean that up. But it does mean that there are going to be some things that you're naturally better at than others. And confidence comes from an accurate understanding of what those are, and then spending as much of your time and heart and effort and energy in cultivating that. When you and I make a commitment to do that, we will be literally transforming our lives. We will be opening up such a flow of energy and creativity because we won't be a square peg in a round hole anymore. And when we are living out of our truth, when we are living from a place of confidence, with humility, with teachableness, we will find that we are really helping to heal our world as well. Namaste.
Many people enjoy Reverend Wendy's talks and meditations and aren't able to attend the Unity Center in person. If you're part of our extended family from around the world and would like to help support the Unity Center, please go to our website or download our free app, which offers even more ways to connect with the Unity Center. Namaste.